Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight's headlines. We have discount of equipment kits for the CDC's event. For the international scene, South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa declared a state of national disaster. Welcome to our newsroom. As part of the activities of the blessed month of Ramadan, it was in the presence of the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Assowe, that took place yesterday morning at the Community Development Center of Sheikh Musa, the delivery of equipment kits for sports activity of the CDC's, the lots consisting of footballs, vests, as well as caps as rewards were given to the deputy directors of the five interior regions and the director of the CDCs of the capital. The event took place with the participation of the ministry's officials, youth advisories, beneficiaries, and community and associations of the host districts. On the occasion, the minister emphasized that the CDC is the place of meeting and cultural and sports exchange. Dr. Hibo encouraged the leaders of these institutions to work together so that all their activities are carried out, and also stressed that these facilities can be used for good. Let us recall that indeed the blessed month of Ramadan is the time for the young Djiboutians to organize animations in the capital and the region of the interior. The Committee on Foreign Affairs met today, April 19, 2022, under the chairmanship of Honorable Abdurrahman Awali Yassin to consider the draft law number 153E and 2028L on the ratifications of the financing agreement for the project Djibouti Digital Foundation. The government was represented by His Excellency Radwan Abdullahi Bahdoun, Minister of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication, accompanied by senior officials from the Ministry of Economy as well as that of Communication. After broad exchanges of views between parliamentarian and the executive, the committee approved the transmission in public session. The corpus examined it with its favorable opinion. About Ramadan, yesterday, the blessed month of Ramadan, yesterday late afternoon, the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, CLE, and the National Agency for People with Disabilities held an iftar at the Hotel Campus Key for the signing of an agreement, partnership agreement. Many people were invited, including the Vice President of UNFT, Hassan Ahmed Bilil, the General Director of ADDS, Mahdi Mohamed Jama, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Women and Family, Anissa Hassan Bahdoun. After the call to prayers and iftar consumed, the Director General of the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, and the Director General of the National Agency for Persons with Disability, Douali Saeed Mahmoud, signed a partnership agreement that will allow more than 2,000 people with special needs to receive trainings to create their own business. The Director General of the National Agency for Disabled Persons, Douali Saeed Mahmoud, welcomed the important step taken for people with special needs. For her part, the General Director of the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, Uba Ahmed Malo, was pleased with the outcome of this project. She thanked the NPH General Directors for the signing of this agreement. The Republic of Djibouti has committed through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to present its first voluntary national review on progress in the implementation of the 2013 agenda of the HLPF High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development to be held in July 2022. The voluntary national review will assess the level of integration and alignment of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in national policy and sectoral development strategy and measure progress toward the implementation of and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals target. This being always in the continuity of the plane of consultations of the stakeholders and the social actors of the country was held today, Tuesday, April 19, a workshop of consultation with the companies of the private sectors at the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti. The workshop was attended by the Director of Multilateral Relations of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Gelle Idris Omar, the Deputy Secretary General of the Chamber of Commerce, Mohammed Ali, and the representative of the United Nations coordination offices in Djibouti. For his part, the Director of Multilateral Relations of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Gelle Idris Omar, rejoiced that the time is so close to adopt the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2022, the team chosen is building back better after the pandemic of COVID-19 while advancing the implementation of the 2013 Agenda for Sustainable Development for the Republic of Djibouti. This theme is of particular relevance and topically because it aligns with the strategic priority of the new National Development Plan that the country has just launched, which includes the post-pandemic recovery of COVID-19. The Ministry of Health, through the Directorate of Priority Health, launched a vast campaign of distributions of the net mosquito in the commune of Rastika and Bulaus, which have been the most affected by the malaria in recent years. During this door-to-door campaign, the nets will be distributed in several sites located in the combined with the other means of prevention. The long-lasting insecticide-treated mosquito net is considered the best remedy against malaria. Also, the Ministry of Health has planned to distribute additional long net to pregnant women and children during their visit to the various community health centers in the country. In the long term, the objectives of the health department is to achieve universal coverage of the use of the nets by providing the population with an effective means of protection against the bite of mosquitoes that are vectors of malaria. The usage of the net is one of the most effective means of the vector control recommended by the Ministry of Health as part of its multi-sectoral response strategy against malaria. As part of the initiative of the President of the Republic to allow Djibouti to move to the digital era in order to facilitate the registrations and exchanges of data between institutions, Djiboutians are flocking to the enrollment centers for biometric cards in the capitals as well as those of Balbala to fulfill their civic duty. Indeed, the visit of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, to the headquarters of the Directorate of Population to receive his biometric identity card has prompted a greater numbers of people to rush to the enrollment centers to get biometric cards and move to the digital age. These centers are equipped with integrated counters adapted to the needs of the population to exchange all administrative and obtain the cards within 4 days. The enrollment centers collect fingerprint, INS, and facial recognitions and then apply the behavioral process of signing universal data unique to each physical pin. From now on, every citizen, Djiboutians or foreigner, in the territory of Djibouti will be identifiable by a unique identification numbers valid for life. It should be noted that the enrollment campaign plans to expand to the 5 interior regions to enable all populations to benefit from this biometric program that will cover administrative documents that currently concern the exchanges of the national identity card, driver's license, and car registrations. A few days ago, the owners of a commercial outlet went to the Humbly police station to file a complaint for the thief of the backpack containing a bundle of money and several prepaid credit cards worth 415,000 Djibouti francs. The investigators of the Humbly Brigade immediately started the investigations by making technical police observations at the scene of the fact. The investigation was carried out with the professionalism and diligence and allowed to shed light on the facts and to arrest the suspected individuals. Indeed, the victims explained to the investigator that the rents a room for commercial use in a private house located in the district of Humbly. One day, the owner gives to his employees a backpack containing a sum of money of 15,000 Djibouti francs and prepaid card equivalent to 415,000 Djibouti francs. During the investigation, the investigator discovered that the thief had entered to the shop through the false ceiling before taking the backpack. The investigations will reveal that it was in fact the owners of the house in which the stores was housed who had stuck in the selling of steals the backpack at noon when the employees had gone to the mosque to pray. The searches conducted at the home of the owners of the house led to the discovery of part of a stolen loot, namely 314 prepaid card and 5,039 prepaid card and 2,105,000 card. The accused was arrested and brought to justice to answer for his actions. For the international scene in West Bank, new clashes between Palestinian and Israeli army and arrest operations that went wrong in occupied West Bank. Israeli soldiers burst in the villages of Yamun near Lervin in the early morning to arrest one of murdered men when several dozen Palestinians threw rock and other projectiles at them. The soldiers fired back and 2 Palestinians were injured. Meanwhile, thousands of Jews flocked to the Wailing Wall on Monday to receive the peace of blessings. This church go testifies, it's important for me to be here today to celebrate the holiday of Pesach. It is the holiday of Jewish peoples living in Egypt. It is the moment we become a nation. I am here today with my family, said a woman. This is the first time in a little over 2 years because of the COVID-19 that we are all here together, and my oldest daughter is just finished her military services to be enrolled in the army. And to close up this edition, in South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa declares a state of national disaster, so a search operation continued in South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa has declared a state of national disaster. The East Coast, and particularly the city of Durban, has been heavily affected by deadly floods. A week after the disaster, rescue operations have stopped, but 63 people remain missing. It is clear that there are other parts of the countries that also need the emergency response. The president said in an address. The cabinet met in a special sessions last night and decided to declare a state of national disasters. According to local authorities, nearly 18% of the drinking water system is out of services, and some areas are without power. 400 schools have been damaged by the disaster, which has left 443 people dead and nearly 14,000 homeless, according to the latest report. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.